Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to talk about a Sacramento Crip gang called North Highland Gangsta Crips. Now I done did a few episodes about Sacramento and some of their gangs. If you haven't already, check those out. In those episodes I covered South Sac hoods and Oak Park. But in this episode, I'm going to go north in the city and talk about a Crip gang from that area. The North Highland Gangsta Crips, like many sets, are influenced early by the Bloods and Crips coming from Southern California, who brought the Crip and Blood identity to other cities and states during the 80s. The North Highland Gangsta Crips have been around for over 3 decades and are one of the rare Crip gangs in Sacramento. Sacramento is a known Blood city, with Bloods having more gangs throughout the city and having just more peer numbers. North Highland Crips are allies of a few Crip gangs that are spread out throughout the city. That includes hoods like Nogales Crips, Valley High Crips, and all of the Garden Block Crips. The North Highland Crips have cliques like Monk Mob and TNA, and are also associated with Loom Squad. One of their main streets throughout their history has been A Street, and that street has been known to get it cracking. The North Highland Crips' #1 enemy in North Sac would be the biggest gang out there, and that's the Paso Heights, also known as DPH, or just the Heights. The Heights are one of the most hated gangs in the North, so a lot of gangs in North Sac are not beefing with each other to take on the Heights, like Blood gangs like the Manners, Crips like the Nogales, and North Highlands. Crip or Blood doesn't matter in Sac. It's just about who you associate with and what crews you don't get along with. Oak Park is also a hood that has a long-standing beef with the Heights, so you can see the North Highlands Crips and the Oak Park associating as well, just like how North Highland associates with the Manners. North Highland Gangsta Crips also got into it with some gangs from South Sac, including 30s and Stars. The North Highland Gangsta Crips is a real diverse hood. They got a lot of white people claiming their area and also share the area with a lot of North Days, so they're associated with a lot of different races. But with that being said, let's get into some cases. On November 30th, 2006, Ricky lived with his girlfriend Larissa and their friends Sarah and Rodney in the apartment, but this will all go bad after an argument between the two couples. This altercation made Ricky and Sarah pack up some of their stuff and get up out of there. On the way out, Sarah grabbed her strap that her dad gave her. Ricky would see this and say, "Yo, North Highland Gangsta Crip, that's how you gonna play it? I have the whole hood up in here." Sarah and Rodney just left without altercation. When she got to her dad's house, she told him about everything that happened. Larissa would call Sarah and told her that Ricky was ruining the rest of their stuff they had. Albert, Sarah's cousin, also from North Highlands, and Sarah's dad agreed to go get her remaining stuff. Albert would then go knock on the apartment door. When they opened the door, he was pulled in by another North Highland Crip and Ricky. They had straps on them. After a few minutes, Sarah's dad would knock on the door as well, and he got the same fate. He got pulled in and had straps on him as well. Sarah's dad and Ricky began to fight over the strap, which Ricky began to shoot. Albert was then shot by Ricky's friend, and both sides began to shoot at each other. Sarah's dad and Albert escaped the house, but all 4 men ended up shot, but everyone survived. You really believe these dudes got into a shootout over a few items like a funky ass TV? And these dudes really thought they was gonna hold them hostage. Ricky and his homie would be the only ones charged with this crime. On April 14th, 2008, around 1 a.m., Perry and Amari from the Heights and a woman named Frankie were driving to a store in their hood on Del Paso Boulevard when a car on the side of them flagged them down, and a man named D asked them did they have tree. Perry said no and drove them to the store. Once they drove into the store, D followed. As they were getting out the car, D asked the group, "Where y'all from?" Before they could say a word, D just started firing, airing the car out. He took Perry's life. Police would later interview Frankie, which he would identify D and pick him out of a photo lineup. Police found his MySpace account, where they seen he was banged out and he was repping North Highlands hard. D was internet banging with Bloods from the Heights, so at trial when they put up all the files of him talking about what he was going to do to them, it wasn't a good look at trial. He was easily took out. D was sentenced to 25 years to life. Around 1:30 p.m. in March of 2013, Deandra was pushing her friend T in a wheelchair in an apartment complex. Marquand and Serene were just leaving their friend's house who lived in the same apartments. Serene was driving out the apartments where Marquand noticed Deandra and T. He jumped out the car and just started shooting. Marquand shot both of them up, taking Deandra's life, and T was shot multiple times, but not without retaliation. He must have been like crazy legs popping out that wheelchair, because he started busting back and shot Marquand, dropping him to the floor. But Marquand managed to run back to his car and sped off with Sharon. My first thought was, why the hell Marquand would want to shoot somebody in a damn wheelchair? But this shooting was all retaliation. Marquand's cousin got shot up by Deandra and T's friend, who was from the Heights, and Marquand and his cousin was from North Highlands, so this was all get back when he seen T. Marquand was later picked up and told the police that T fired first and shot him in his legs. He would even bring up T being from the Heights and his cousin getting shot by T's friend. but this all didn't matter. Marquand was later charged with the shooting. Marquand was sentenced to life. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.